Okay. I got you, Leela.
Thank you.
Yeah. So what to say about something that was never born?
Right? Silence is the best.
Yeah, that's another word. Here, silence is heard as another word for unborn.
Yeah. Or stillness.
Yes.
Or emptiness.
Yay.
Mm.
Then everything's free to be what it is, without you getting in there mucking it up.
I wanted to say something. I watched that video that you did, Leela, with George. It was really good. And I wrote it what you said because I most likely will forget, but said victim responsibility and then it's no responsibility and then it flips, or responsible. No, victim responsible and then it's no responsible and then it flips. And that reminded me of uh, when I was so much into the 12-step program, and um, for about a seeming 21 years. And during that time, it was I have to say that helped the person relax a little bit and take responsibility for what she says, does, and thinks. And then when this happened, or just when I had this clarity or seeing, like you said, Leela, it flipped. Because the truth of the matter here is that there is no responsibility over what comes out of this mouth, what I say, or what I do. There's no one here doing that. That's the difference.
Yeah, how ironic. Yeah, it seemed that way in the story, that there was a trying to get out of the victim consciousness, and even thoughts like, well, I didn't do that, but I must have done it somehow karmically. I was trying to take responsibility for everything. And it led to a lot of introspection and just seeing what was popping up here, all the beliefs and stuff like that. And it's so ironic that taking full responsibility can just flip like that. And then you're like, oh, it's just this, there's no one to be responsible.
Very well shared. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, you need two. You need two for responsibility for cause and effect.
Yeah. Everything we've ever learned is based on subject object.
Me and other.
And that was the relief when there was a seeing that that there's no one, that I'm not. Of course, the body goes and pays bills and takes the car to go shopping, buy food, and all of that. Um, but I feel like it's deeper than that. There's just I don't see anyone here doing it. I just see that there's just no doership here. That there is just going to the grocery store, going into the shower, using the bathroom, paying bills. There was just so much meaning to that. Me being responsible for everything. It felt very solid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's insane looking back at that whole structure, the heaviness of the belief that I'm doing this, I'm responsible. Um, and then the obviousness now of the thisness, just this. It seems like a fun trick, you know.
Well, it is. This is empty. So really, when you're saying it's just this, you're not actually saying anything.
Mm-hmm. And yet expression happens, you know, the body seems to know what to do, and there's just spontaneity of appearances.
Yeah, and meaning can appear. There's nothing, meaning seems to have a dirty word in the spiritual community. No, meaning can appear. Something can appear. Someone hits your car, it may mean something, but it's just not you doing it. You're already not involved already. Ah, I got already in early.
Yeah, that's a fantastic point. Meaning can appear, yeah. But there seems to be a meaninglessness that's with it.
Yeah, I have a cute little that I always remember when I was like still in deconstruction. The first two letters of meaning is me.
Or is there so fun?
And then this thing goes bananas because it goes, well, yeah, and the first three letters of concept is con.
Mm. Yeah, like little clues.
But it's more playful, right, you guys? Like,
Mm.
it's not as heavy. The word lighter, I hear like, yeah, I went and saw Paul Hederman, Leela. I went and saw, he was here in Los Angeles a couple years ago.
Oh, I love him.
Yeah, and that's his drumbeat was traveling lighter. That's pretty much all he ever talked about.
That's where I got that from, was Paul.
Yeah, it's funny. I'll tell you a quick funny story. So at the end of his meeting, was at a coffee shop, actually near Dodger Stadium, and I asked to take a picture with him, and he said something I've never had anybody say to me. As he was standing next to me, getting ready to take the picture, he goes, "Just so you know, I never smile." So you see this picture, I got a big cheese-eating grin, and he's just
Oh my goodness.
beautiful.
He-
It's like the happy and sad face, the life
Ye-
and death. It was perfect. It was the yin and the yang right there.
Yeah, he does too smile. He just don't do it for cameras.
Right. Oh yeah, yeah. No, I love he's then he's been and that's right, Indira. Maybe did you ever hear about him through
I
a
don't even know. I don't know who Paul Hederman is. I have never met him before. Heard of him?
You're gonna love him if you look him up. He's a recovering addict. He
Oh,
used to be a cocaine addict. Yeah,
wow,
he's a Mandel speaker, and he is so colorful.
that's awesome.
He cusses like a sailor.
yeah, yeah.
My eyes seem to water randomly because of just like, I don't know, like happy tears, you know?
Yeah, yeah, I'm much more sentimental and emotional. And, I went and saw a kids movie with my sister, Harold and the Purple Crayon. It's probably for 8-year-olds, and I loved it.
Oh, I'll have to watch it with my son.
Yeah, it came out in the movie theaters. It's one of the rare movies that it's actually better than the book because the book's a very simple story about a little child, like a little 3-year-old kid with a crayon, and he begins drawing like a ladder to the moon, and he goes up and sleeps in the moon, and then he crawls back down and goes back to bed asleep. The end. Like that's the whole book, basically. It's a little more than that, but the movie's got other characters. It's got a porcupine, it's got a moose. They go into the real world. So they leave the pages of the book and then they appear as real people, but they're still kind of look like a porcupine and a moose. And I don't know, I was entertained.
Wow. There's a lot of symbology there. Huh.
Yeah.
What did you take away from the movie or that moment?
Man, that's a good question. Um, well, one, it was very playful. So if they got into trouble, like he could, now he's in the world and he's older. Like in the world, he's, like, I don't know, 20 or something. And he can get out of trouble by, they need an airplane to get away. So the purple crayon comes out, they draw an airplane, they hop in and they take off in this purple airplane that can fly. And it's just magical. And that's what reminds me of this. Like, this is magic. And that's what that movie reminds you, that there really is magic. You're seeing it.
Yeah, and how it can appear to be story making, you know.
Well, maybe that's our purple crayon.
I love
Or
that it's
even,
purple.
or even conflicts that may arise in the stories, at least in these stories here. I was just sharing with Leela, there was in the other video that I shared with her, there was even another memory of someone that there was conflict. And that was arising, reaction was arising in here. Fear arose here, and misunderstanding arose between the two of us. And then after that, it was, I think it was, I don't know, maybe a couple weeks later, after, back in November, when I was doing the inquiry and really feeling into the inquiry, like I had just completely forgotten about it. And when I saw her, it was like it never happened. Even a conflict a couple weeks ago with this individual, there was misunderstanding between us, and then then it was done. Like a dog just getting over the whatever, like barking, and then goes into a corner. It wasn't, if it felt meaningful in the moment, but then after it was just meaningless. See, that's, to me, that's the that's the I love that. That is like, there's no suffering in that. Whereas I can remember a time of just there was a person in here, seeming person, holding on to thoughts of, and now it's just, there are thoughts of that, but it's whimsical. It's back here. It's not so much in the forefront. It's like starting over all over again.
Yeah. It's only in time, or in memory.
Mhm.
It isn't real anymore, you know. And that's complete freedom when you're like, oh, I can just be with this, you know. And without the story, it's not so heavy.
Mm.
The suffering,
Ah.
the suffering.
Yeah, I hear when I was on the spiritual seeker's path, it was a double whammy, because let's say there was a disagreement, right, between two people, like me and someone else, my sister or something. Then there's a wish for that shouldn't be here, because I'm spiritual, and that's proof that I'm not there yet, because I'm still getting triggered, and now I feel guilty. So you can throw that in. It's like a soup of, like, no wonder you're pulling your hair out. You just don't know how to get out of it. And the thing is, you can't see, you were never in it.
Yeah, it's an invisible place that doesn't exist, this enlightenment. It only exists in a thought, or, in a part of a conversation. How do you know you've made it anywhere? Like there's all of that just falls apart. It just crumbles, Am I there yet? uh,
It's almost like the devil, just to get dramatic here. It's almost like man figured out that material objects wouldn't do it. Like eventually relationships, money, sex, food, all of it wears off. Like, And so the devil said, we need something that won't wear off. I know, enlightenment. Because you can keep chasing that baby till the body takes its last breath.
Mm. We're
Yeah.
not, the opposite of we're not here yet, I would say, is well, we're here. It's always here.
Yeah. I feel like there's a playfulness in seeking. Um, I feel like it's for the sake of seeking, whether it's conscious or not. Like it's just what wants to happen, when it's happening. What the game that's wanting to be played. Because there's a fear of the unknown, and we just like to dance and run around and play in the concepts, in the known.
Yeah, there was a lot of denial here, a lot of denial and a lot of avoidance. And so I was so stuck, so caught up in the thought, well, like you said, I'm not there yet. There's got to be something better. Even when I would go to the meetings, there was a saying that we all said, and I there was an agreement that I had with that in order to find peace or to get peace, I need to go to a meeting for an hour to get peace. I need it. I need the meeting. I need it. And wow, gosh, thank God. It's just there's none of that happening here anymore. And sometimes there's a wanting to go just to connect with other bodies, and then there's just a curiosity, but there's no expectation here. And but that seeking energy felt very constricted and kind of controlling, and it felt there was a lot of suffering, and it was laced with expectation and imagination and worry and fear and not good enough, or self just feeling bad, that sense of feeling bad or not good enough. It was just laced with so much of that.
Mm.
And now it's what's beautiful, like what you were saying, Michael, is that all of those things can arise. A moment of it can arise, and like I said, I can see it and feel through it. If there's an expectation, it's part of all of this. It's not extradicated from this. It's always been a part of this. There may be an interaction, memories of interactions, and then there's a sense of feel that would arise, of not good enough would come up, and I would feel it and see it, and then look at what's behind that emotion, the words behind it, what's going on here, and there would be there's a seeing that there's comparing, and sometimes it doesn't even have words, it's just a sensation, and then just to feel through that, and then it's gone, and then the next moment presents itself, and then I'm doing something else. There's no like, well, I have to sit here and write about it and heal something in here. There's no one. That's another thing, though. There's no healing here. Boy, what an illusion that was. There's nothing to fix, just to feel and to see. How freeing is that? And it's for no one. It's just, yeah.
Comparison is the thief of joy. I've heard that. Even like confusion is fully already confusion. Like it's already this. Um, Gregory said, the feeling of something missing is not missing.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, it's just a feeling. It's not separate. Separation is not separate. It's just separation. It's just like you said, Indira, it's just what's happening in the moment. But it doesn't stay. Like you get involved in something else and you're not even thinking about separation. You're doing your dishes.
There's no story behind it to hold on to. Yeah.
Yeah, there can be like intense sensations. But it's different without the belief in the stories about it, you know.
Mm.
It's usually not a problem.
Mm. Wow, that was beautiful. Not a problem. Well said. I had shared with Leela a while back a memory of, I guess it was a month or two, I don't remember, but I woke up from this dream and there was so much, I felt there was trigger, there was emotion, just deep emotion. And I did do some writing, but I also did mostly just feeling and allowing the body to weep. But with that, at the same time, it was okay. You say it's not a problem. I look at it, it's the same thing. It's an okayness that the body needed to weep, or allowing the body to weep. There's just no suppressing here. And then the day it was done. And the next day it didn't, or it wasn't a problem. It was okay.
I like the word vulnerability. It feels like a bravery to just admit that nobody knows, anything could arise, you know. It's a bravery, not that anyone does, but that can arise, that's not sheltering itself with concepts. And that can just bloom like a flower, you know.
Yeah, how can concepts touch the unborn? It can only imagine it touches it. It is it.
So paradoxical. And yet not.
Yeah, that's the paradox. Yeah, I know what you mean about things touching you more, like being more trying. When I was, I don't know if any of you saw, I did a video on the time a little girl asked her mom what this rumor was she heard about Santa Claus. I posted a little video about it. And as I was telling the story, my voice got a little, like, because I realized to the little girl, and I remember even here, there was a moment where Santa Claus was definitely real. Like there was proof, brought presents, there they were. Like the tooth fairy. I just remember the first time I woke up and there were 2 quarters, under my pillow and the tooth was gone. That was proof. There was a tooth fairy. They told me there was. And if I was good and went to sleep, I'd be happy. Just so it's just, when I said the little girl came home and said, Mom, like she was really concerned. Like it wasn't funny to her. What's this rumor the kids are saying that there's no Santa? That's like saying it's like there's no self. You know, it's devastating. Like, that's why I'll hear Tim Kliss talk about, you know, he cried a lot, he said, like when he saw the me wasn't really there. Like he said, I don't know, 6 weeks or something of weeping. Yeah, yeah, Tim. Now that wasn't the case here. Like here was great joy. I was suffering so dang much that to get out of the suffering was happy days.
I've heard people can do that. They can just cry like a really, really lot, like during that time.
Yeah.
Um,
Because it's like your core belief, right? The me, the self is your number one deal. And if that's seen to not be there,
yeah, and somebody might say, "Well, who is there to cry?" But there was never anyone. This is all just arising, like spontaneously, like any other animal, how they react to their environment. Um, Never needed someone to do this to react.
I mean, people may say, who is there to cry, but who is there to drop the apple from the apple tree when it's ripe?
That's it.
I felt it just felt a sense, there was a sense of relief, and there was a sense of shock at the same time, and a disappointment. And the relief was, oh, but just seeing everything, it's right here, right right here. It's and the clarity was like, wow, there was just so much attention on imagination and fantasy of what I guess liberation is, or awakening. Um, and I remember I was watching Angelo for a while,
Hmm.
seeming while, and what is he talking about? Pre-awakening, all of these verbs, I mean, nouns or whatever, I didn't understand. And then when that moment, I guess it was just actually a glimpse, and it's not doesn't feel fleeting. it it felt fleeting because I was so drawn into the thought that there's more than this, that there's got to be more than this. There was that energy that I was making agreements with, that dropped. And so there was like, oh, there was a sense of relief. And then I would look behind the fear thoughts, and what I would find is absolutely nothing. No,
Right.
I was sharing this with a friend because we were doing it back and forth. Another pathless person, if you want to say, who's on this pathless path. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's nothing behind it. And then there was that sense of relief. And then just, it was a relief for me.
Yeah, it was for me too. It was a little disappointing, like you said. And there was a lot of hilarity. Um,
Yeah, what was funny about it?
it just felt like a prank in a way.
You pranked yourself?
Yeah,
Joke.
in a
Yeah.
way, this is playful in that way, apparently. You know, it likes to play hide and seek, apparently.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to say that I was very relieved because I was suicidal for like 20 years. I mean, I had ideations of it like every morning when I woke up. And so yeah, it was a huge relief to see that there's nothing to kill
Hmm.
already.
Yeah, the poor body gets punished.
Yeah. And then compassion arose immediately, it seemed like, for me. Everything is innocent.
Yeah.
Same here. Passion.
when before I didn't even know the meaning of the word.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah, here was when it's all about me, there wasn't so much compassion. Without all the energy going here now, like seeking, and it's all, there seems to be an availability, an openness here now to listen to others and to get into their story and enjoy it, because now it's not about me, it's just what's happening.
Yeah, it does feel that way. That self-centeredness is not there.
It's
Separ-
ex-
There's no separation. Sorry, no separation.
well, I was just going to say it's exhausting. Like here, the seeking and the mind trying to figure it out. I often say at my meetings, try everything. Try everything you think will work. Really, nothing wrong with it. Go for it. Here, it just eventually I ran out of tries. I tried every book, even esoteric ones that Leela in her early days even made a video about. What was his name? Joseph
Uh, ah,
Ledbetter? Can't remember.
I
Benner.
don't either. I
Joseph
made the
Benner.
video and I,
Joseph Benner. Yeah,
oh, that's it. Yes,
yeah,
yes.
yeah. This is like an old channeling dude from back in the day, but it's like you can go through that. Like you'll like, oh, this sounds so profound. Let me just like you say, get lost in the words. Like but it's work. It's still a doing to get something. And eventually there can be a dawning that no one else knows what's going on either.
Mhm.
Nobody, not so no book's going to give it to you, no person, nobody. I don't know what's going on. Nobody knows what's going on. That's it. That's the freedom. It's the knowing that I think I know something that in a way is the bondage.
And that's the beauty too, that whatever anybody in the world is doing is perfect. It's part of their this. It's part of their this. It's perfect. There's nothing wrong with it. Like there was nothing wrong with what I was doing for all those years. I had a thought, but it just slipped. Wow. Oh yeah. I didn't want to talk in the beginning because wow, there was like such a noticing that everything that came out of here was dualistic. And that was new. And I was talking to my friend Luciana. I said, it feels uncomfortable. She goes, well, you're noticing it. There's a noticing. You're catching the thoughts. But it, it felt uncomfortable because there was no more attention on stories and dialogues and this over there and over here. That didn't make sense anymore. And then eventually, thank goodness, there was some integration. There was more of I call it intuition, like a trust, something in here that just, it's nobody in here, but it just felt natural to just go with the flow. That's what came up for me. Just go with the flow. It's okay that whatever comes out doesn't make sense and it's dualistic. How else are you going to communicate with the world or communicate with other people? You can't go around saying, well, to my brother, well, there's nobody in there and there's nobody in here. It just, so there's been more of a melting of like an integration this year, and it's okay. It's totally okay. But I could just remember, I just didn't even on Facebook, that was another change I noticed too, because I was very much into the positive and spiritual and ego and do this and do that and your life will be great, and it just felt like nonsense to me. It felt like something left and something came in or not even come in. It's like so there's no desire to even, well, behind it, honestly, it was, look at me, I'm spiritual, honestly, positive, I can help you. That all of that has dropped. And I mean, I post stuff, but there's no And if it comes up, it comes up, but there's no desire to go back to what the character was doing those seeming years,
Yeah.
even though it was perfect then too.
Yeah. You look back and it sort of changes the past. It makes it all effortless, you know. You sort of remember it differently, I guess.
Mhm.
But there was an awkward period of seeing that all words are futile. They don't point to the truth. All words, you know. I would hear myself say like, "Pass me the salt" or something, just simple, and it's like, what? What? That doesn't even refer to anything. Like, and then frustration because I wanted to speak about this, you know, but everything I said wasn't right. And like you said, like an integration, there had to be a seeing, like, oh, okay, yeah, no, you can't speak about it. Uh, and then there was a playfulness about it because it's always been inherently meaningless. No way to point to this.
Beautiful. And I love your videos, all you and Michael. I just sit and listen, and it's just so much resonance.
Oh my God, Leela has found a part-time career. She is so good at making everybody's video. People love when she does it. Her voice is so perfect, you know?
Yeah.
And in fact, Leela, one of the things you said that I posted of yours was you said that it was more like a fog lifting. And it's not replaced. The sense of a me is not replaced anything. It just seemed to have never been there.
Yeah. It fog lifting sounds like something happened, but you know, we're gonna fail every time we try to describe it.
Mhm.
Um, maybe like an unhappening. Uh,
That's funny. How can an unhappening happen?
but the alreadiness and the always was this way. And not being able to see awake people versus asleep people. Um, yeah, it's you can't know it until you see it, I guess. And then you see that you never didn't know it. It's always been um so intimate. But thank you for the compliments about the videos.
Yeah, yeah. Well, people love them. So, I mean, really, it's not everyone can do it. You know, it really is something beautiful, at least here. That's how it's seen here. It has to have the emptiness there. This doesn't seem too interested if it, you know.
I really enjoy your Zooms, Michael.
Thanks. And I like what we called my video that you did on me is it's a magic show for nobody. And then the last part, which this does touch me. This is the part that does bring tears. It's a magic show for nobody until it isn't. So that's you could say at death when the body comes, it's the end of the magic show. You know, for this perspective, let's say. So that's like, you know, the magic shows right. This is it. It's not in the future. It's not in the past. It's just here.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, it's like a constant flowing river, you know. Humans and their metaphors.
about 4 days ago, or is it 5 days ago or 6 days ago, I work at the as a flight attendant for United, and I was at the terminal coughing, and but I just it was fine. It was all good, and not feeling well, but doing it, and there was an okayness with that as well. I
Mhm.
had shared how thoughts were coming up about it, and then there was just a seeing of it and not having any agreements with it, which was so incredibly freeing. And then this woman sat by me, and I from Jamaica, just sitting there, and I'm looking at her, at the specks of her eyes, the colors of what she was wearing. And we had this really nice conversation, and I felt so fully. I just met her for the first time, and she was just sharing from her heart. And it was just so beautiful. And I was able to, whatever came up, share with her. And it was like, it was just beautiful. I think, well, there used to be stories around whenever this body would have a cold or asthma would occur or whatever, and there would just be stories about, oh, there was almost like a sense of separation, even though I see no separation, and there would be like a wall up with other people, and that was one of the things that dropped too, is like there's no such thing as separation. Like, I speaking with Leela, I felt like I've known her for, I don't know, 1,000 years seemingly. And you, Michael, just listening to you, I feel like I've known you for, you can't explain these things, but it's beautiful, you know, the joy of sharing and resonating. So
Yeah, it's so beautiful. It's so fun. We can't know each other's experiences. Um, but we can resonate. I like the word resonate. It just means you like something, or love something, but seems energetic.
Well, I've had people ask me at my meeting, what do I mean by resonate? Because they don't they don't resonate with the word resonate. And I say the only thing that I said was, well, why do you love your favorite song? You just do. So that's the same with this message. Even if you don't know, like I don't know all is one. I don't know all is this. I don't know that. But there's just something here that just vibes with it. All is this. It landed in the hole. Like, that explains why you can't fix the me, because there isn't one. There's just this.
It's not about me. That's a huge relief, and it can be scary too. Mm.
it makes sense, resonating. For me, it just, these, what we're sharing and what you've been sharing on your videos, it makes sense. Whereas during the seeking, there it would have made sense too, but there was still that trying to get, and still trying to understand, and see. It's so hard to put into words, but yeah, so it just makes sense now here.
So strange how you can so quickly go from resonating with seeking and trying to manipulate and control, um and in no time at all it's like you can't listen to someone telling you need to meditate or you need to do this or that. It's hilarious.
Yeah, I call it the sales pitch. If I get any feeling that someone's like, it just hits me like a belief, and it's kind of I just move on.
I always say that questioning is good, but I mean, I always tell people like you, Michael, that do what you want to do. That's
Yeah. And I agree also, I think you guys talk about, what is your highest vibration I've heard, or joy? Like, to me, that's not a dirty word. I do enjoy sharing every day, right? Or I probably wouldn't do it. I don't think Leela would make all these videos if she didn't enjoy it. So this is our highest. We're not doing this for money. That's for damn sure.
yeah, that's for damn sure. Uh, my husband's like, you need to write a book or something.
Hey, I did it. I'll help you. I got one with Nkosi that I wrote about a year ago, where I basically did what you did. Nkosi didn't. I collected his quotes and my quotes that I liked the best and put it in a book. And I figured out it was hard. It took me a while to figure out how to get it uploaded to Kindle in their format. But I finally did it. It's called Just This.
Oh, thank you, Michael. You're so sweet for offering that. I'll have to buy that and read it.
Yeah, or maybe I'll have to send it to you, both of you guys.
Oh,
I don't know, Leela. Maybe you and I'll have to write one.
well, I can't say no to you, Michael, so it'll probably happen.
Listen, sister, at first it was Nkosi. That was the first time, like, I went, finally, finally, some other motherfucker out there that's singing this in the way it wants to be sung here. And then Sander came along. I got two brothers. Finally, I like, okay, now I got a sister.
No. Words can't express, the gratitude. And before seeking, I would see these seeming little enlightened cliques, like best friends forever in enlightenment. And I was like, I want to be like that. And it's just that was effortless and this is effortless. Mm.
Really, but there's such joy here seeing that I'm not the only one. Because so for so much of my life, I'm like, I just don't fit in. I don't get it. I don't know how they take everything seriously. They seem like they know what they're doing. Um, if they get stressed, it's nothing that some alcohol or a trip to Vegas can't cure. I just couldn't ever, this wouldn't go away. This seeking, this something in me that felt life was off, that I couldn't put my finger on, but something was off. I couldn't figure it out for so long. It was so frustrating.
Mm. Same here. Same here. Until there was inquiry, then the seeming doors just open. It's so subtle. It's natural. It's right here. It's itch on my leg or this leg. There's an itch, scratch. That's part of it. It's 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 everything. Going into the car, driving, feeling the air condition on the face, loving it when it's so hot outside, and that's part of it. Car going in front of me or tailgating me, a little frustration rises. That's it. Here it is, right here. That's it, that frustration. It's all good. It's everything and nothing all together.
Yeah. Boom.
Yeah.
Boom. Shout out to Rosa.
It is quite subtle because nothing changes and everything is different. And I remember hearing that before and being like, what? You're going to sit here and tell me that? Does not give me anything.
The same but different. Hmm.
It's very experiential. That's why it doesn't feel fleeting. It's, and even that doesn't last, and that's okay too. That's part of it. Experiences come and go.
Yeah, but you don't. The experiences come and go, the thoughts come and go, the feelings come and go, the beliefs come and go, the sensations come and go. You never come and go.
It's changeless. Mm.
That's where we started the conversation. We were talking about stillness and silence and the unchanging. I had somebody ask me what silence is and what does it mean, and are they missing it? You know, like they're not getting it. And I said it. You know, it doesn't need to be understood. It's just like the same word as like unchangeable is what I said. Like the always thisness. It doesn't necessarily mean quietness. You know.
Mhm. Yeah.
I was telling a dying friend of mine who was so upset because she's got cancer. She's dying. And there was a moment in there, and I said, let's do something together. Would you like to do something? And she said, sure. I said, let's just close our eyes for a second. And I said, honey, I'm doing it with you. Just close your eyes and just put all that attention on your breathing. I'm doing it with you. In, out. Just put all that attention on that. Let's stay with that. Okay, now put attention on whatever is in your environment right now, what you're hearing. Whatever you're hearing, put attention on that. And I stayed with her on that for a while. And I said, I'm with you. I'm doing it with you. Feel that. I said, now open your eyes. Put attention on the chest going up and down. Just put attention on that. And then the sight, the sounds. I can actually hear a loud sound, like like a loud sound, and I love it. I don't know. It's just, and she was able to hear her environment. And I said, open your eyes and put attention on whatever's in front of you. If thoughts arise, that's okay. But look at the shapes and the colors around. Just, it's okay if there's labels that come up, but just stay on that. Put attention on that. I said, great. Now do it all together. Tension on the breathing in and out, tension on the sounds, the visuals all together. Where is your bum? Is it on the chair? Put your attention on that. Are you standing? Put attention on that. And then I said, for a while there, we were both doing it. And I says, what are you feeling? She goes, Indira, there's peace. I said, bam, that's what you are. And nothing else. That's it. All those years you've heard me talk about, because she saw my posts on spiritual things. I said, it's that silence, honey. It's that silence. And yeah.
Oh, beautiful. So much more simpler and more obvious than we suspect. Mm.
Yeah, that was the power of already. The first time I heard Nkosi about 3.5 years say, all is this already. That word already stopped me in my little tracks. Like, I'm like, are you guys hearing what this guy's saying? He's saying it's already. So what the hell am I doing? Like, what's all the seeking about if it's already? Like, that really hit hard here, like a bullseye. It stopped me in my little tracks because I couldn't argue with it. I go, well, if it's already, then it's already done.
As far as like a word or a phrase or something like that that clicked for me, it was that's just a thought. I just kept saying that to myself over and over, to every thought. Because I started to see that, oh, I actually believe in some of these thoughts, which should be obvious, but it's not obvious when you're like unconscious to it and you're just like in the storm, you know? I didn't realize the nature of thoughts, that the stickiness, and that they could be more or less meaningful. And that was profound, just to be able to say that that's a thought, And then I just kept doing it all the way down to the original thought. I am, apparently. And then I was like, oh my God, that's just a thought. So is enlightenment. Everything.
The same happened for me, but I was typing back and forth with somebody doing inquiry, and I realized that I was like, oh my gosh, there's just thought coming through. This is just thought. And that's when there was this like, it was like a, and then I don't know any other way to describe it.
I love that.
And then that week, it was just, wow. Thoughts that claim to be a doer, thoughts that claim to assumptions, opinions, likes, dislikes, just thought. And I like what you said, that's where the freedom was. Just, it felt meaningless. Because for so long, there was so much attention on the meaning, which was very solid.
Yeah. So it's all transparent now. I understand finally what they meant by that. The solidity and the transparency. I was like, what? Is the world gonna disappear? Like, what? What are you talking about? But it's all psychological, Uh, it's psychological solidity.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, when there's a feeling of a me being there, there can be this parsing of good thoughts and bad thoughts. Oh, I like this thought. Let me hold it. And oh, that's a bad thought. I don't like that. This feeling uncomfortable, being depressed, being sad, being confused, being alone. Like we should talk a moment about that. The aloneness. It's bad. It's profoundly, but what can you say?
I think we could talk like a whole talk about aloneness. I've actually contemplated it the last, well, today at least, because I heard Tim Kliss's recent meeting and he was talking about aloneness. Um, I mean, you could say that aloneness is, just this is just this. There's, just the boundless, um, nothing outside of it, you know. That could be seen as utter aloneness, but aloneness only makes sense in duality.
Yeah. Yeah. In comparison.
Mm-hmm.
In comparison to not alone.
Yeah.
So you're right. Boom. It's still dualistic. I'm feeling alone and I'm looking for not feeling alone. But when there's everything, aloneness is included. That's it too. Shockingly.
So it kind of feels like it's utter aloneness, but it can never be alone, really, because it's all inclusive. But as a human, it can certainly feel that way. I mean, we have empathy, but you can't really make someone understand you, and you can't make yourself understand anyone else.
There is an enjoyment of, I guess you can call it, been an introvert, just there's a lot of grounding when I'm by myself. I love the just there's no fear in just being by myself here. And I remember when the last relationship I had was a year and a half ago or something, there was a lot of suffering in that. And then I was saying to myself, this is not it. I mean, it can happen. I've seen beautiful relationships, but in this, for me, it just wasn't it. That was not it. There was a seeking even in that. And then when there was a seeing clearly in that drop, there was this emptiness or this beingness. There's no words to put to it, that just felt so feels real, feels like there's like a sense of safety here. Now sometimes the body will want to do things with others. That aloneness, that part will come up, and like, I go out to eat with some friends, and the body will call or take a walk with someone. But that I don't feel like there's that utter loneliness here, like it was being entertained before. And you hit it right on the button, Leela, because there was so much meaning into it. I have to have somebody. There's got to be somebody here. Need to be in a relationship. All of that, all of those were just thoughts that were being entertained. And hey, it happens, it happens. Now, if it does, but there's no, I don't care if it does or not at this point, which is very freeing.
It's beautiful. I swore men off right before I met my husband. It's like the universe was waiting for me to swear him off, and then he gave me my prince.
How did you guys meet?
We both worked for the same company at the time. Yeah. I don't feel clingy to him, like I need him to validate me, or I feel like I'm finally able to have a healthy relationship, because I feel complete already. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's like you can be there for somebody more when you don't need anything from them, you can just admire them. And but
It's
before I like Michael said, I was seeking in relationships.
Yeah, here too. And then it dawned that it was because I took myself to be an object or a thing or a Michael, like an entity. And so naturally, I'm going to look for another object to complete me, to understand me, to connect. And it was just always frustrating because nobody could really ever understand me. And then the light bulb went off. Ah, well, it's hard to understand emptiness.
Yeah, this doesn't need to be understood. I mean, that's an insight right there. Wow. This doesn't need to be seen or known or anything to be what it is. That feels like a party waiting to happen or something.
Yeah, there's just such a joy here that I can't hide meeting like-minded. Because, having gone for so long without seeing anybody, that now it's not taken for granted. Like these Zooms with you guys and connecting, and our Leela and I chat all the time. It's so appreciated. It is not taken for granted. It's so loved. It's like,
No. Yeah, and even though there's no one here, you're not missing out. Nothing is missing out. No. It's like emptiness makes everything fuller.
Yeah. Yeah. It comes out in simple ways. I was at Subway getting a veggie sub, and there was some like tattooed teenage guy, good shape, but like looked like a trainer. And he's schooling me on like what's healthy. He's giving me calorie content, right? I don't care about any of that. Give me cheese, give me mayo, load it up. And he was so friendly and we were vibing. And I'm like, 3 times the guy's age, but we were completely connected. And I'm going, okay, a little more tomatoes, some onions. I got you. I got you, you know, and I just looked at the guy, go, you are overqualified, my man. And he laughed, and we just had like a little, I was with him for maybe four or 5 minutes while he made my sandwich, but it was a delightful, like he waved, said, see you next time. It was like, boom. And I just walked out with a smile. It was just a great feeling.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, and even after COVID, it seems like people are just more standoffish than they've ever been. There's less eye contact and um, handshaking and all that stuff now. But I don't know, it makes those chance encounters like gold. When somebody just smiles at you genuinely and what just wants to talk to you, like a little puppy that is like coming up to you, shaking its tail.
Yeah, right. Your heart goes out to them. You're like, yeah, right. It is that like that. Like you just are open and quiet and seeing, and the person starts to look at you with eye contact and connect. It just like happens spontaneously.
Yeah, there's a joy that arises. I think it was a month after seeing clearly for me, and I just felt like more myself, even though there's no self. I just felt there's no more pretending. I could. It's like felt like I was out of a cage, even though I wasn't in a cage, and the expressions that come out of here when I was meeting up with people for Christmas, and it was like falling in love all over again. And that's what it is, when I'm in contact with people. It's like I feel like it's waking up to itself over and over and over and over again, even though that's not happening. It's just this, but it's just like being a child again.
Yeah.
No pretenses or anything, just fully friendly, because that's what comes from here. That's what comes out of here. It wants to express itself. It wants to smile. It wants to give you a hug. And yeah, it's like being a child again.
Yeah, it's the thought that says, I know that it could be better than this, that just puts this whole dark fog that you can't see through. I know it could be better. That's completely delusional. The futility of acceptance, not that anybody does, but the acceptance of futility, you would think would be some dreadful thing, but it's the best news ever. I said that I felt like a wild animal. A wild traumatized animal.
And Indira, I like what you said about a cage, because the cage now seems to be gone.
Yeah.
I can't find a cage. It feels expansive. It was like an imaginary boundary to me.
Yeah.
Imaginary, yeah, was never really there. Yeah, very well said. I think that's like the beauty of it. It's like oh, that was just oh, it's like you just wake up. It's like, oh, that's not real. None of this is real. All of it is bullshit. Oh, because
Yeah, it is.
oh
Sorry.
my, it's okay. It's all right. Laughter is good. There was so much, oh my gosh, there was so much attention on stories and what this body had to do. And it's like being in shackles with the seeking, which was fine. And then all of a sudden it's not there anymore. Oh, there's no shackles. Oh, where's the seeker? There's never a seeker either.
Yeah. Yeah, I talk a lot at my meetings lately about there being like this here was one of the, I would say, maybe the biggest realization, so to say, was for so long I dwelt in the past, thinking about where I grew up, my house, my childhood home, my first girlfriend, my first kiss. I could live in those thoughts. Like just it made me so like peaceful and all that. And then one day I just went, wait a second, where is the past? I realized there's never been a past.
Wherever you go, there you are.
That's so freeing though, not like, because there was this unconscious dragging around my story, my feelings, where I was born. My parents were both, they committed suicide. My mom both suffered from depression. My dad was a little schizophrenic. So, it all was in there back in the, with the subconscious being lugged, and then suddenly one day it was like a dream when you wake up and it's not there anymore and you realize, shit, it never was.
Yeah, it's not here.
Well, guys, I love this. This was great. I have to get ready for bed to wake up early tomorrow for a trip, but um, this was great. I love you both. Mwah. Big
Mm,
hugs.
love you.
Thank you, Indira, so much.
So
Really,
awesome.
just, yeah, big hugs. Really, really enjoyed your sharing. Tremendous.
Thanks, you guys. Love you both.
Love
Love
you.
you. Talk to you soon.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So girls, should we make the big announcement?
Yes, I was gonna let you do it if you don't mind.
So you could check me on the facts, make sure I get it right. So a week from tomorrow, so September 14th, and Leela and I are going to host an open Zoom meeting. Everybody's invited. It's going to be 10 a.m. my time, which is Pacific time, 10 a.m. Pacific time. And we're doing it purposely early for European time. So we're trying to accommodate everybody. So Leela's central time, it'll be noon for her. And then 7 hours later will be like Nkosi and Standard Time, South Africa and Europe. So anyway, we just wanted to share that.
Yeah. You can go to our social media to find the details again.
Yeah, I'll post a link to it in the next day or two. I don't know. Are we going to do any kind of, you feel like putting together any poster for us?
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that.
Okay, so good. So in a few days, at some point, it'll be posted in Michael Jeffrey's non-duality community on Facebook. At least I'll put it there, Leela, and I'm sure you'll post it.
Yes.
And the link will be there at the top. I'll pin it. So, and would love to have anybody who resonates with us.
That was beautiful. Yeah, maybe people could put a couple questions in the bottom. I don't know if we would get to them, but I mean,
Yeah, I would love it. Yeah, or they could come ask questions or you know, come with your Zoom camera on or off, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Just love to see you. Yeah, Leela, it's just, I have to say, girl, it's just such a pleasure.
Yes, it is. This was so fun and it was so flowy. Can't believe it's already over.
Chloe.
Yeah.
I love it. I do the same thing. I make up my own words. That's another like freedom.
Yeah. I was wondering if I made up the word alreadiness.
Yeah, I love it. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Like I'll be making a post and you know, I'll get on like a thing, seamlessness, emptiness, you know, and some word that normally you wouldn't put it, you know, unseparatableness.
Yeah, Ness is very convenient.
Oh, beautiful. God dang, girl. Well, listen, I'm, we're going to be talking pretty soon, so
Okay. Yeah.
I should let you go.
Yeah, I'll work on the poster and maybe I can get a hold of this recording here.
Yeah, and if not, just message me. I'll send it to you on Dropbox.
Okay.
Thank you so much,
You
Leila.
love you, Mike.
Love you too. Bye-bye.
Bye.